Welcome back to our daily soap chat. I have been sitting in my favorite recliner watching this show for more years than I can comfortably count. And I must confess that the recent events unfolding on our screens have left me with a profound sense of melancholy. Watching Ethan Lovett pack his bags and prepare to leave Port Charles is genuinely breaking my heart. Ethan has always been a character who brings a certain undeniable rogue charm to the screen, very much echoing the adventurous spirit of his legendary father. Seeing him forced out of the town he calls home feels incredibly unfair, and it stirs up a deep well of frustration inside me. I cannot help but feel a profound ache for Lulu Spencer, who is once again left standing alone in the devastating wake of a sudden departure. The emotional weight of their situation is incredibly heavy, and I find myself wondering just how much more heartbreak our dear Lulu can take before her spirit shatters. The absolute catalyst for all this current misery is the sudden, jarring arrival of this highly mysterious character named Hudson. I am deeply suspicious of this man and the immense, suffocating pressure he has somehow managed to place on Ethan's shoulders. It takes a monumental amount of leverage to make a stubborn Spencer turn tail and run, so my evaluation of this dire situation is that Hudson must possess some truly devastating, life-altering information. What could possibly be so terrifying or damaging that Ethan would willingly abandon his entire life and the people he deeply loves without putting up his usual fierce fight? This burning question is driving me absolutely crazy every single afternoon. Hudson operates with a chilling, quiet calmness that makes my skin crawl, and I firmly believe he is going to cause a massive, unprecedented upheaval in our beloved town before anyone even realizes what hit them. The heartbreaking goodbye scene between Ethan and Lulu was an absolute masterclass in unsaid emotions, and I am not ashamed to admit that it left me wiping a stray tear from my eye. I felt every single ounce of Ethan's silent, agonizing pain as he looked into Lulu's eyes, completely unable to tell her the full, honest truth about why he was walking away from their connection. Lulu's confusion and sheer desperation were overwhelmingly palpable, radiating straight through the television screen and directly into my living room. In my personal opinion, there is absolutely nothing more tragic in storytelling than two people who care so deeply for one another being violently torn apart by dark, unseen forces beyond their control. Will Lulu ever find it in her heart to forgive him when she finally learns the terrible truth? Or will this forced abandonment permanently sever the beautiful, complicated bond they have shared for so many years? Just when I thought my old heart could not take any more shocking surprises, the writers decided to bring Serena Baldwin back to Port Charles. As a very long-time viewer, I fondly remember Serena as a sweet, innocent child, the absolute apple of Scott Baldwin and Lucy Coe's eyes. But this current, grown-up version of Serena feels entirely different, and her sudden presence fills me with a terrible, sinking sense of dread. She has this cold, calculating, and almost ruthless look in her eyes that completely betrays her innocent family legacy. I am honestly shocked and quite deeply disappointed to see a beloved legacy character potentially taking such a dark, villainous turn. What on earth happened to Serena during her time away from us to twist her into someone who feels so incredibly dangerous, guarded, and unpredictable? The horrifying revelation that Serena and Hudson might actually be working closely together is a plot twist that genuinely took my breath away and left me staring at the screen in disbelief. My mind is constantly spinning with the terrifying implications of this unholy, unexpected alliance. If the hushed rumors are true, and they are the secret architects of a brand new, ruthless criminal organization setting up shop right under our noses in Port Charles, then we are all in for a very bumpy, dangerous ride. I evaluate this emerging threat as one of the most insidious we have seen in recent years simply because it involves someone we all thought we knew and trusted. Serena's intimate insider knowledge of the town's residents, combined with Hudson's ruthless intimidation tactics, makes them a truly terrifying and formidable duo. I predict that the local police department and even the established hardened mob figures are going to be completely blindsided by their aggressive, calculated takeover. I honestly find myself lying awake at night, pondering the true, sinister nature of the dark plan Serena and Hudson are so carefully orchestrating in the shadows. It simply cannot merely be about accumulating money. There has to be a much deeper, more personal vendetta driving Serena to betray her roots so spectacularly and align herself with a man like Hudson. My personal opinion is that she feels deeply wronged by someone powerful in Port Charles, and Hudson is the blunt weapon she is willingly using to enact her cold revenge. The sheer unadulterated malice radiating from their secret whispered meetings makes me incredibly anxious for the safety and well-being of everyone in town. Will Scott or Lucy be able to reach through the bitterness and find the goodness buried deep inside her, or is Serena completely, irrevocably lost to the dark path she has chosen to embrace? As if the impending criminal underworld drama was not enough to keep my blood pressure elevated, we also have this deeply haunting, emotional storyline involving Delilah's hidden past and the true identity of baby Phoebe's father. I have found myself becoming incredibly emotionally invested in the fate of this poor innocent child who is caught in the middle of adult messes. The growing obsession surrounding little Phoebe's paternity is like a dark, heavy storm cloud hanging over the town, creating a suffocating atmosphere of paranoia, gossip, and fear. I feel a profound sense of sympathy and heartache for Delilah, who seems entirely trapped in a complex web of her own past mistakes and desperate choices. Who is the real father, and why is the absolute truth so incredibly dangerous that it threatens to destroy multiple lives if it ever sees the light of day? This disturbing new obsession with Delilah's closely guarded secrets feels intricately and dangerously connected to the larger explosive chaos unfolding with Hudson and Serena. In my many decades of watching this wonderful show, I have learned one absolute truth. There are rarely ever any true coincidences in Port Charles. I strongly predict that whoever baby Phoebe's biological father turns out to be, that man holds the ultimate key to dismantling Hudson's entire terrifying criminal enterprise. The anxiety I feel watching these beloved characters scramble desperately to uncover or bury this truth is completely overwhelming at times. It is a brilliant, yet deeply agonizing piece of storytelling that makes me critically question the morality and limits of everyone involved. How far will good people go to protect an innocent child? Or conversely, how far will these new villains go to cruelly exploit one? Despite the current atmosphere of gloom and impending doom, I firmly hold on to a strong, comforting belief that Ethan Lovett's heartbreaking departure is only a temporary setback. Ethan is a natural-born survivor, much like the rest of his family, and he is fiercely, stubbornly loyal to those he loves. I am absolutely, unequivocally convinced that he is out there right now plotting his grand return and meticulously figuring out a way to completely neutralize whatever terrible leverage Hudson holds over him. The intense anticipation of his eventual triumphant comeback is honestly the only thing keeping my spirits up during these dark episodes. When Ethan finally bursts back through the doors of the Metro Court to reclaim his life, I just know it is going to be an explosive, deeply satisfying moment of television history. I evaluate his current painful retreat not as an act of cowardice, but as a brilliant, strategic withdrawal to protect Lulu while he gathers his strength for the real war. In the agonizing meantime, I am watching Lulu's journey with a complex mixture of immense pride and deep paternal concern. She is hurting terribly, yes, but the Spencer women are famously, beautifully resilient in the face of tragedy. I firmly believe this agonizing, forced separation from Ethan is going to harden her inner resolve and push her to bravely investigate Hudson on her own terms. My personal opinion is that Lulu, with her sharp, investigative instincts, will be the very one to uncover the first real, damning piece of evidence against this new, shadowy criminal organization. However, my deepest worry is that her profound grief and desperation will make her careless and reckless, putting her directly in the dangerous crosshairs of Serena and Hudson's dark, unforgiving machinations. Will her relentless pursuit of the truth end up costing her even more than she has already tragically lost? Looking at the grand, overarching picture of our beloved soap, the emotional landscape of Port Charles has rarely felt this fraught with genuine danger, hidden secrets, and shocking betrayal. The complex intertwining of Ethan's forced, tragic exile, Serena's shocking, heartbreaking corruption, Hudson's mysterious, suffocating power, and Delilah's desperate, fearful secrets creates a storytelling tapestry of incredible, nail-biting tension. I literally feel like I am holding my breath during every single commercial break, waiting for the other shoe to drop. The writers have done a truly phenomenal job of making us care deeply about the personal, human stakes involved, rather than just the flashy action sequences. I boldly predict that before this massive storyline finally concludes, we are going to see some incredibly shocking, unlikely alliances formed out of pure, desperate necessity. Who will bravely step up to defend the innocent when the established heroes are compromised, blackmailed, or chased out of town? As a man who has happily spent countless wonderful afternoons deeply invested in these fictional lives, I find myself completely and utterly captivated by the current swirling turmoil. The profound emotional depth of Ethan's selfless sacrifice, the heartbreaking, tragic betrayal of Serena's turn to the dark side, and the haunting, suspenseful mystery of a sweet child's parentage are exactly the reasons why I have loved this incredible show for so many years. I am eager, deeply anxious, and utterly obsessed with finding out exactly what happens next to these people who feel like my extended family. Will the bright light of justice finally pierce through this gathering, oppressive darkness, or are Serena and Hudson going to successfully drag our beloved Port Charles down into a terrifying abyss of crime? I would absolutely love to hear what you lovely ladies think about this entire complicated mess, because I certainly need some good company and lively conversation while I patiently wait for Ethan to come home and set things right